Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Friday. A little bit of a black screen there, but my apologies. It is ARMS as we open up the unofficial start, I think, for a lot of folks to the holiday season. Hopefully, you're having a pretty good weekend. It's getting cold out there as well. It is Friday, November 19th, 2021. This is the Arms Bumanlag Project back again, live here on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And you can watch the rebroadcast, as always, on YouTube and listen to it in podcast form on Spotify. So we got a couple of things to get to before we welcome our guest back to the show. Our first ever returning guest for episode 36. He's one of our very first guests that when we launched this back in the summer, he was gracious enough to join us on the stream. So we're very happy to have him. In just a few moments, we'll welcome him back to the program. Got lots of ground to cover with our guest today, but we've got lots of things that have been going on, lots of things that have been cooking. And I have found myself doing some multiple shows over the last week and a half. But that's okay because there's some really worthwhile topics on the horizon. But last week we talked to the good folks at Windsor Fire and Rescue, my buddies Jeremy and Sean, about Sparky's Toy Drive. How do you distribute gifts during a pandemic? Well, they're doing it, and there's some great information for you. And then, oh my God, next week, Adriano Chodoli. This is going to be an extra large, supersized edition from Windsor Eats. We went into triple overtime with Adriano, so he's back with us live next week on the Arms Bumanlag Project. One of my favorite guests, alongside my guest tonight, to welcome to the show. So we got lots of stuff to talk about. Tomorrow, we're back live with a rebroadcast, too, of our talk about Anti-Bullying Week, specifically cyberbullying in schools and workplaces. And we're going to talk to Luciana Rasu-Cieza, who is the executive director from the Bulimia, Anorexia, Nervosia Association, and she'll be joining me to talk about dealing with cyberbullying. And we're going to show you some of our talk with the staff and students at Catholic Central High School. And it's brought to you by Funding Care and BANA through the support of Charitable Gaming Community Good. So it's a special report with some great information for you and your kids to absorb, especially if you're entering the world of social media and wondering how you can kind of navigate that efficiently and through a positive lens. So really looking forward to doing that. That's tomorrow, live here at 2:00. And then on Monday night, I don't know how we did it, but we did it. No, just kidding. I know how we did it. We had my good friend Paul Germanesi from Always Working for You, the real estate group, hooking us up with the man himself, Santa Claus, for the first ever live Santa calls on the Arms Bumanlag Project. That's going to be taking place Monday night with Mr. and Mrs. Claus. Now, this is the same kind of format I used to do on AM 800, except we're asking you to join the video chat on my show with your kids and talk to Mr. and Mrs. Claus live in person. Santa and Mrs. Claus will be kicking off their tour of force at the Amherstburg Parade on the 27th. So that's happening on Monday night. And if you want to join us for the login for that, that will be posted on my social media pages a half an hour before the show at 8:00. So it's going to be a ton of fun. Again, Mr. and Mrs. Claus live, presented by Always Working for You, the real estate group from Royal LePage Binder Real Estate, on Monday night at 8:00, right here, only on the Arms Bumanlag Project. So all the plugs aside, for everything that's happened, everything that's going on, my guest doesn't need an introduction except to simply say, welcome back. He's a good friend of mine. He has been invaluable to highlighting this area through the beauty of his lens and the different photos that he takes. The one and only Steve Biro is back with us live on the show. Brother man, what is shaking? How the heck are you? Good to see you, dude.
Hi, Arms. I'm doing well. Thanks again for having me again. It was such a good time last time. I was happy you asked me again. It's a lot of fun. Good to see you again.
Yeah, man. It's like when I could get you on the show. It was like, okay, a lot of people, because people were coming up to me after the fact and say, "Hey, do you know Steve?" I go, "Yeah, Steve and I are good buddies, right?" Like, and the guy's busy. He's got enough stuff on the go. He's adventuring. He's doing cool stuff. He's taking moments in time with his camera. But I'm like, yeah, and then I like asked you as a couple of favors to come on out to do our Humane Society calendar for the 2022 push. And I know you had a lot of fun with that. The photos turned out awesome, man.
Thank you. Yeah, the calendar looks great. Yes. Yeah.
I was really pumped up too because I think a lot of folks were excited to see the winners from that too. And then we had you come out to the Devil's Masquerade, which was pretty awesome too. Get you involved as well. Yeah, Mom's watching the show. Bye, Carol. We love you. But yeah, no, I really appreciate everything as always. The animals and the staff of the Humane Society appreciate it as well. And it's just good to reconnect with you, brother. So anytime I can have you on the show, it's good. But before we get to your badass adventures in Manitoba and
Yeah.
some of the awesome photos you took. You got to tell me, I mean, dude, you don't stop, but let's talk about some of these photos here. Some pretty cool stuff happening overhead last night, right across the world, too. Take a look at these photos. Steve, tell us a little bit about this.
Uh, so I ran down to I wanted to wake up. I actually woke up at 3:30 in the morning because there was um, a near total eclipse last night of the moon, but it was still cloudy, and peak was about 4 a.m. So I went back to bed, um, and wasn't feeling the greatest, but I still wanted to get out and take some shots. So I headed down to the riverfront. I started at the GM building, and then I thought I'd like to get the moon setting between the spires of that beautiful cathedral if I can. So I headed on down there. I got this shot while I was down there, and then I got some nice centered shots at the cathedral, and really thought they turned out kind of fun and pretty good considering it's across the river, right? So yeah, I was pretty happy with the way they turned out.
Yeah, these are awesome, dude. Like I saw that you posted them on your page, and then you got this sweet shot of the
Yeah,
Rensen.
I haven't posted it yet,
Um,
but
it's pretty awesome. So, like, I mean, this was like sort of like a what did they say? Like once every 600 years, like this type of moon pops up.
yeah, this was the longest partial eclipse in since 1440, and there won't be another eclipse this long until 2669. So I found that pretty cool. Unfortunately, I didn't get the eclipse, but I was happy to get the full moon as it set. So
Yeah, still these photos are pretty awesome too. So, and
yeah,
I mean,
thank you so much.
it's funny. Like I go back to the weather days on CTV when when you used to send me in photos, and like so many hundreds of photographers used to send in photos too. And then
Yeah,
I remember there's one dude was like, "Hey man, you got to take photos of our skyline." I'm like, "Our skyline's pretty good, but like when you get like a Steve Biro Rensen shot, like it's pretty cool, man. Like they've
yeah.
like Detroit's got a nice skyline."
It is a beautiful skyline, and it is part of our view, right? And it's always enjoyable. And when I get over, it is nice. I haven't been in a couple of years. I'm looking forward to getting over and taking some shots of Windsor. Now that the new restrictions have been changed, it's going to be able to capture our skyline again. I'm really looking forward to it, actually. So.
And I remember during the CBC days, we had a photo contest too to redesign our website. And I know that you ended up coming out on top because you did get that kick-ass skyline shot of
Yeah,
riverfront shot of Windsor, but you also included the CBC transmitter site, which was pretty cool too. So
yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
it
I
was,
managed to. It went basically from there to the other side of the casino. So yeah,
it was pretty
yeah,
cool, man.
yeah. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
speaking of borders being open too, I should make a note too. If I get a little quiet every time during our show tonight, I'm kind of like single dad this weekend. My wife
Ah,
actually, my wife actually went over to the states.
oh,
She,
nice.
yeah, Carrie went over to the states. My, I don't think a lot of the viewers or followers. I think you and I talked about it. I think at the Devil's Masquerade, but Carrie's sister got married in 2019, just before the pandemic, and she married a lovely gentleman out in Dearborn, Michigan. And she moved over there, and then the
Very nice.
pandemic hit. So we haven't really seen Jess. And Jess, Carrie's sister, is really close with Liam, and obviously Carrie and Jess are pretty close too. So as soon as things were kind of okay, she's like, "I miss my sister," and her sister's expecting, so it's like, okay, so her and my mother-in-law went over, and so I'm kind of like rocking the dadhood this tonight and right into the weekend with Liam. So he's tuckered out, but I
Very good.
Carrie's sending me photos from like Target. She's like, "Oh my god, I'm in my element," and I'm like I miss going. Like I did like
Yeah,
to go shopping at Target. So I like you, man. I'm excited to go over eventually.
yeah.
I'll probably hopefully
It
before
is fun.
Christmas.
Yeah, it is fun. I'll be bringing my mom to see her relatives soon as well. It'll be nice. She hasn't seen her sisters in a couple years now, so it'll be great. Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, it's just it's about time, right? It's weird. It's like I tell people like we're going to be turning the page into 2022, and I remember New Year's Eve, 2019, heading into 2020, and just like what a surreal feeling that was. But
yeah, yeah.
2 years, man, goes by like nothing. So how you been? How are things? You're getting settled. You're back in Windsor. You were just on this trip this that you were telling us about last time. This was pretty cool.
Yeah. So went to Algonquin for a couple of weeks, and then went up to Churchill. I can talk a little bit about Churchill.
Sure.
First, it was really quite an adventure. It was set up by it was a photography tour set up by Gregory Sweeney, who does amazing tours all over the world, especially dive tours. So I'll put a plug out there for him in case anybody's interested. Um, so yeah, I went up to Winnipeg and then flew out of Winnipeg to Churchill. Lucky it came together. Some of the organizer didn't arrive until the night before, around 10 o'clock at night. So yeah, we were and he was supposed to be a full day later, and they managed to get in. So the adventure started that way with, are we going to get there or not? But yeah, it all worked out. And the days are long. You start up early in the morning, and you start looking. You basically start driving around all over the place looking for polar bears, and that's your day. You're all we are looking for other animals up there. There are Arctic foxes, Arctic hares, snowy owls. We only saw the an Arctic hare. This was a polar bear cub, and in the background off to the right, you can't see his mother, his or her mother. I can't tell if it's a male or female. But this is probably a second year cub. They stay with the mother for 30 months until they're able to survive on their own and quite large. And it was quite nice to spot that cub, and it just rolled over and did a little yawn, and that was, for me, that was one of the highlights of the trip. This was actually, the fox image was actually taken in Kingsville. There's a place in Kingsville where the foxes have their kits sometimes. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah, I just the polar bear photos that you had, like when you were up at your place doing your thing. It's like, okay, my questions are, honestly, how close were you to the polar bears? Are they like aware that they're being shot? Like I seen, like honestly, I've seen a lot of photos for like folks like yourself that go like right up to like the Arctic Circle and stuff like that, and they show some of
yeah,
these polar bears and they're so emaciated because of the lack of food. But
yes,
I see the
yeah.
photos that you had, and it's like, man, like are they? Some people say that they're like they're predators or they're aware. Like what was that experience like?
Yeah, so they're extremely cautious up there. So we stayed at a research facility. It was dorm
Wow.
style. And at first I was a little concerned, but it was actually a really nice place, really quiet, clean, wonderful people. They cooked our meals throughout the day. And you cannot go out the front door at night. You just can't. They're like, you can't step out that door at night. And the polar bears are not, they're not going to hunt humans. That's really not what they're going to do. There are stories that they will, but a polar bear will hurt you if you're in it. They are territorial, and even if a polar bear was to play with you, you probably aren't going to survive the experience. Their claws are several inches long, and they're actually serrated like a knife. So as far as how close we got, the closest we got to a polar bear was probably 30 meters, 35 meters. We stayed in the car while we shot the polar bear. As far as getting out of the car, I don't think we got out of the car if we were closer than 100 meters. We were we that was that, nobody does. Nobody should get out of the car if the polar bear is that close. So anything less than 100 meters probably shouldn't. The polar bears can move extremely fast and they can surprise you because they are big creatures, as you said. But they can move far faster than a human can, and they can cover a lot of ground very quickly. And they are quite something to see. We were fortunate. I think they kind of know you're there, and as long as you're not in their space, thank you, Tina. If you're not in their space, they aren't going to bother with you, but they are curious. So on the one day we went on something called a tundra buggy, something I highly recommend if anybody ever gets a chance to go up to Churchill, is to take a trip in the tundra buggy. Well worth the cost, and it's not even that expensive. But the polar bears will actually, they're just these giant vehicles with like 6 foot high wheels, and the polar bears will actually come and lean up against the side of these tundra buggies, checking the people out. We weren't fortunate enough to have that happen. The people before us, people who went out the day before, they were fortunate enough to actually get pictures looking down on these polar bears, looking up at them. So they are quite curious, and they're not menacing, or they're not ferocious. They do eat berries, and I have pictures of one eating kelp or seaweed up there, and they eat a lot of vegetation before the ice forms. And you did mention about the food being scarce. Actually, the issue is, I think a lot of people should know this. The issue is um, the ice is forming much later on the Hudson Bay. So when we were up there, there's normally ice. There, 10, 15, 20 years ago, there would have already been ice covered. We would have gotten pictures on the ice that time of year. Them going out, heading out to fish, or sorry, heading out to look for seals. Now the bay freezes up much later. So they congregate in Churchill. People wonder, why is Churchill the polar bear capital of the world? They congregate in Churchill partly because Churchill has a large river that feeds out into the Hudson Bay, and it actually lowers the salinity of the water. So that's the first part of the bay that freezes over. So they're able to move out onto the ice sooner in order to go hunt, and they uh, need that seal blubber to really fatten up and keep them warm throughout the year. Thank you, Eric. And they're really so. We were told there's a woman who did the speaking at a museum there. She said when she was young, she was probably in her 60s. She said when she was young, polar bears almost always had three cubs. They're instinctively now, because they know they have lower body fats and less to eat on, they're having two cubs and sometimes one. So that's what's causing their numbers to dwindle down now, and they're starting to interbreed more. So I think if more people were aware of these major issues, and sometimes we feel disconnected from it, but if you go see it, you feel connected to it, and when you talk to people who say we've never seen this before, when we were there, we only had a couple of days that dropped below freezing when we left. The day we left, it was 3 degrees and raining. And like I said, normally it'd be a frozen tundra up there at that time, right? Or it would have been at one time. So it's sad to see. Hopefully things start to change for the better. I know it will take some time, but hopefully we haven't seen the peak of the polar bears, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's different, right? Like you get to see. I'd imagine, Steve, when you're out there, it's like one thing. It's like I say to people, you see and you hear these different things on the news or whatever. You see the photos
Yes.
online, and it's like, okay, it's almost like we get desensitized to it, or
Mm-hmm.
we're not feeling like we're connected to it. But like I
Yeah, it's
guess like
not.
when you're there, it's like, wait a second, like these beings have like an integral part to everything, and there's
Yes.
something seriously not right here.
Yes, when the ecology is affected in one area, it goes down the chain, right? It will eventually. The populations they feed on may start to increase, and then it'll upset a balance someplace else, right? That's the problem when the balance is upset. So, yeah, yeah, but it
I
was
think there
really quite spectacular. It was amazing. Yeah.
I was gonna say like you got like awesome picks too, and like correct me if I'm wrong here, just to go through some of the other stuff that you were sending me, and like I was
Mm-hmm.
creeping your page a bit because I love when you post stuff. I'm like, oh, I said to Kara, I'm like, oh, Steve's back. Like, look at these kick ass photos. But
Yeah, yeah,
um, like this is like incredible, dude. Like the fact
yeah,
that you're not this close to the moose, right? Like you're
yeah.
further back.
I was pretty close to the moose. That was
Really?
Algonquin. That was Algonquin Park. I didn't send you the picture of me.
No, I think it's coming up here. I think it's coming up
Okay.
here. But like I
No,
was just like, dude, like what do you even like? You're
yeah,
somewhat near this giant because moose are like they're big, right? I've
they're
never seen
big.
one, but I'd assume they're big.
Yeah, they're big and they can move fast. So I'm about 30 meters from that moose. I had a tree right behind me. I was aware of its proximity, thinking if I had to move quickly, you know, but they are pretty docile as long as you don't keep moving towards them. There were people near me as well, other people. I wasn't much further than anyone else, maybe only a couple feet. So I felt pretty comfortable there. There was a moment when I was standing beside some other photographers where it actually lifted up on its hind legs, huffed and twisted really fast towards us, and we all backed up pretty damn quick. Let me tell you. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man.
That is a big animal. Let me tell you. Yeah,
Yeah, I see these videos. The moose is like for whatever reason disoriented, and they're like somewhere in BC or like Upper Alberta or something like that, and
yeah,
it's like they're taking photos and video right beside in the car, and this thing is like it's huge, right? And it
yeah,
moves. You're like, holy
yeah,
cow, right?
yeah, yeah. And they can move very fast as well. Like you're not going to outrun a moose for the most part. Um, luckily, there was a female nearby. It was mating season, or the rut as they call it, and he was pretty focused. He was watching her while he was chopping away on the vegetation. So we I don't think we had too much to worry about if we can get much closer to him. So yeah,
That's awesome. Well, that's
yeah,
good. So
yeah,
what
it was
else?
one.
Like you're up here, you're doing the trek, you're in the wild, you're out there too. Like different vibe out there, I would assume, right? If you compare it to sort of like the flatness of Ontario, very very different, very scenic out there.
Algonquin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the moose was Algonquin. Yeah, so Algonquin is pretty tough to beat. I know a lot of local people that still haven't been there. I talk to people and they say, "Oh, I've never been to Algonquin Park," and I'm like, "Man, that's like one of the most wonderful places in Ontario." I don't know if have you been, Arms?
I Dude, I'm one of those people.
Oh man,
I gotta go.
it,
Yeah, man, I
when
gotta
you
go.
go, it's amazing, and it is hilly. It's fairly small mountains, but it's mountainous, and the colors when we went were just off the charts. We were there at peak time. It was really spectacular. I go to Algonquin almost every year, and I've never caught peak. 5 years straight, I never caught peak. I'm either a little after, or the colors just aren't changing until later. And this time we got the beginning of peak, and it was just it was awesome to behold. It's just you just driving through the park, you just oh man, wow, woo, ah, yeah, it's amazing, wonderful. Yeah, and had a wolf encounter. That was my first wolf encounter.
Come on.
Um, as a photographer, I have had wolf one in quite some time ago in my 20s. I went camping with my friend Jeff, and a wolf actually walked through our campsite late at night while we were eating hamburger helper after a long day of hiking. And I walked through our campsite, whining, was whimpering a little. You could tell it was a little nervous, but it was looking for food, right? So yeah, and this beautiful wolf here, he came to the side of the road. We were lucky to spot him, and somebody had, as normal, somebody had thrown some looked like McDonald's or something at the side of the road, and most animals are opportunistic when they can be. So he smelled the food, and he had been eating it at the side of the road, and I was able to get some really nice pictures of him. This is my backyard, so these are baby deer drinking out of my bird bath. Yes, and the one deer you can see it has a scar on its nose. I don't know what happened, but it still comes to the backyard, and the fur is grown back nicely. You can still see it has a little scar, but it's doing very well. It's doing very well.
Yeah, I was just gonna. I mean, I was going through all the photos, and I'm like, okay, you got the wolf, and then we go to a deer, so it's a nice like just juxtaposition. So you go from like,
Yes.
this
Yeah.
predator looking for something to eat, maybe getting some
Yeah.
scraps, and then
Yeah.
your backyard. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's pretty cool to see, man. Like
Yeah. Thank
just
you. Yeah.
just to see the interaction that you have. And Brenda's here
Yeah.
saying, hey, Steve, your work's brilliant. Thank you for sharing your countless views. So, and I
Uh,
think
Thank you, Brenda. Brenda's great. Great, great
that's
friend.
part of it too, right, Steve? I mean, you get to see and experience the world and then kind of translate those moments that many of us won't have or
Yes.
can't have.
Yeah.
And you're kind of bringing a piece of the world back with you in your travels. I think that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. That's one of the most important things to me. I know I've mentioned this before, but I think it's important as a photographer, to share with the world what I see, because, like you said, many people won't ever be able to see them. Thank you, Cindy. That's my sister who lives. My sister lives in Huntsville, so she lives right near Algonquin Park. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I count myself very fortunate, to be able to travel. I do believe in counting my blessings. I think it's so important. So many people have um, are not as fortunate as I am, and I'm really happy to be able to share, bring the world to them, and when they tell me, I brought them a smile or stirred a fond memory, that's really heartwarming for me. Always, it's one of my main motivators now. Plus, I do love being in nature. It's also one of my main motivators. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's something about that too, right? Like I've said you're like we're 36 episodes in. You're like you're number 36. Really, it's like close to 40 if you count some of the specials we've done or going to do, but
Sure.
for the
Yeah.
show. And it's like, you know, I say constantly on this show, it's like the pandemic has really sort of upended the world. We all know that, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
Mm-hmm.
also upended people's priorities. And I find
Yeah.
it fascinating that so many of us, and I consider myself in that somewhat of that category, are kind of getting a back to basics approach and kind of figuring out what we like to do, what
Mm-hmm.
brings
Mm-hmm.
us joy, and then just doing it. Because I think a lot
Yeah.
of people are realizing that I know this sounds sort of naive, but life is short, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I find these people like saying, okay, I'm selling my house and I'm going to go out west. Like there was
Yeah.
somebody I know, and I don't want to out her, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's somebody that I've worked with a corporation for a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
I have tremendous respect for her, and I was very much looking forward to working with her in some partnerships from a humane society lens. And then she messaged me about 3 weeks ago, and she says, I'm picking up and I'm moving out west." Um,
Well, it's
and
falling
it's
apart.
like,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's I think people are trying to find that balance, and a lot of people are kind of reconnecting with nature and saying, yeah, I am going out for my nature walks. I am going making a
Yeah.
point to stay in nature because they're feeling connected that way.
Yeah. I see way more people, Ojibwe, Malden Park, way more than I used to. I would say the average numbers are near double. People just walking and enjoying nature, and they're always so kind. They always stop and talk, and ask. They always, see. They usually see my camera gear, and they ask me questions, and it's always nice. I like engaging with people, especially in nature. And I'll answer any questions you have. Anybody sees me out there, feel free to say hi and ask me questions. I'm always happy to share. I really enjoy it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, dude. That's awesome. And I got to do a plug for your site too, because I know quite often, like last time you were on the show, and I know that you do tremendous amount of charity work too, but you've got some fantastic prints, people who your work in their homes, and a little bit more information too on, we talked about you going viral last time, all that kind of stuff is always on your
Yeah.
website,
Yeah.
stevebirophotography.com.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
to round out 2021, looking ahead to 2022 to kind of venture out there,
Uh, you broke up a little bit there. Ask me again.
trips that you're planning for 2022 to round out 2021, anything else before the holidays hit?
Nothing before the holidays hit. I'm going to take it easy through the holidays, but early in January, Costa Rica is coming up.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's going to be quite a trip. This is going to be an overall photography tour um, for birding and landscapes, and I think we're going to be doing a little bit of like in the towns and stuff, which will be quite interesting. I always enjoy seeing the culture and capturing that as well. And Costa Rica in January, then Iceland again in March. We were supposed to go back in September, but for a few various reasons, we decided to postpone it. So we're going to be going back again in March. It's going to be should be quite something. Iceland is always an adventure. Let me tell you, it's a land full of good people, beautiful landscapes, and a fair bit of danger. It's a real adventurous place. Let me tell you. Yeah, you
Yeah, and your
can.
photos are like from the Iceland trips that you've done before, and even being in that area in the world, like sort of like the Northern Europe area. It's pretty awesome to see some of your work. And then, Costa Rica in January. I mean, sign me up. What is the temperature like? 80s,
Oh
90s?
yeah, I mean it depends where you are. We're going to be in the mountains for a couple of days, so it'll be cooler.
Sure.
Last time we were there in January in the mountains, it was going down into the 40s at night. So it was 5, 6, 7 degrees at night. So there's some cool spots there too. But on the coast, yeah, it's in the 80s. Yeah, yeah, it's 30 degrees. Yeah, really nice. I'm hoping to get some pictures of sloths this time out. I didn't get any good pictures of sloths, and they're really interesting creatures. So that's one
That's
of my
awesome.
goals.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, geez, I said to Kara, I'm like, now that things are, God willing, we're not headed towards, more lockdowns or, more of that kind of stuff, and travel restrictions sort of easing. Uh,
Yes, yes,
Look at 2022. I mean, we haven't really taken a quote unquote vacation since 2019, right? Just before the
yeah,
pandemic, we went to Disney.
yeah.
But I mean, you talk about hot weather. It's like I don't mind the cold weather. Like I was out there today. I was out in Windsor doing some stuff for the Humane Society, and
Beautiful
it's
day.
like
Yeah.
I'm just like I can't handle like the cold. Like I'm getting to a
Ah,
point now where it's like, I'm going to be celebrating my birthday coming up on 40 here in a couple of weeks, and it's like,
oh, very good.
yeah, I'm just like, man, I want to go and I want to be somewhere warm. Like
Ah,
somewhere that's warm consistently.
yeah,
Like 80s and 90s, like sign me
yeah,
up if that's 24/7, man.
yeah. I don't mind the 80s, but it gets pretty hot in Florida sometimes. Yeah, yeah, I've been in. I don't know if you've been south, but I've been in Arizona when it was 114 degrees. So yeah, yeah, that's what the car was showing. It showed 114. I don't know if it's quite that hot, but it was hot, man. You didn't even want to stand outside the car for more than 10 or 15 minutes. It was brutal. Yeah,
See,
I've been to Death
Arizona's on
Valley when it was about 110 as well. So
Arizona's on my bucket list of like places. Like I don't know, I've had this weird sort of fascination because it's like we went to I know Vegas is not Arizona, it's Nevada, right? But when we went
yeah,
to Vegas, it was like it was a different. I know I sound such like an old guy right now, but it
yeah,
was like it was a different heat, right? Like
yeah, it
like
is.
like like Florida's that heavy
Oh
humidity,
yeah,
the
it's like
heat.
Windsor, yeah, Florida,
Yeah,
yeah,
and then like when we were in Vegas, it was like it was a cool heat, if that makes sense. It was breezy, but it was still warm, right? It was like a
yeah,
dry heat, and I'm
yeah.
like I would love to just go to Arizona for like a month and just, I don't know, just try it, try my luck at it and see how I
Well,
fare.
Arizona is amazing, and there are hot spots, but you can go to a place like Flagstaff, where it's fairly high elevation. It's very temperate there, very beautiful, but there's so much to see in Arizona. Oh, Sedona is unbelievable. You know, it's interesting. I've been to a lot of places, as you know. Yeah, you do, Eric. Uh, um, as you know, I'm very well traveled,
Yep.
and on my way to Arizona, I had so many people tell me, "Wait to see Sedona. Wait to see Sedona." I mean, I've seen the Grand Canyon, been to Yellowstone, Iceland, Italy. I've been a lot of places, a lot of beautiful, beautiful places, and they said, "Wait to see everybody. Wait to see Sedona. Wait to see Sedona." So I'm thinking in my head, well, okay, I've seen a lot of nice places, and we were leaving Flagstaff, heading into towards Sedona. Down, we actually we went around Sedona the first time on our way up, and the plan was to stay in Sedona on the way back. And when we hit Sedona, I was like, okay, I see what everybody means. It is unbelievably spectacular. There's it's just absolutely beautiful. The temperatures are beautiful, usually 80s. So, high 20s, upper 20s, but sunny, dry, people are nice. And just the scenery is unbelievable. It's up there. It's a top destination. It really should be on everybody's bucket list.
I was
Yeah.
like, at one point, honestly, like, this is before I met Carrie, and I'm like, oh, I was on the fence. This is probably like 2013. I was like on the fence of like, okay, do I stay in Windsor? Do I go try my wings? Because I was like, anytime I've ever like wanted to leave Windsor, and it hasn't been a lot, but
Yeah.
especially when I
Yeah.
was doing the broadcast gig too, I'm like, okay, like either I'm going up to Toronto or I'm going to try my hand at the U.S. market. And I was like, I have friends in like Michigan I went to school with that are up in the UP that are like running TV stations and radio
Yep.
stations and that kind of stuff now. And
Nice.
it's a small market kind of thing. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I like Michigan. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Michigan, but I'm like, if I'm going to make the move, I'm going somewhere south, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like really looking into like stuff like just outside in like Scottsdale,
Yeah.
and,
Beautiful. Yeah.
and those areas. And it's like I
Yeah.
was reading some of it, and like so a lot of these houses, like I was looking at houses that are on their real estate listing. This was again like set like 8, 9 years ago. Um, there's no grass, right? Because it just doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to do grass because you're going to be watering it
No.
and it's a fortune. It's,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
rock, right?
Yeah. It's huge waste. Yeah. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
don't, maybe one day. I said to Carrie, Carrie's like,
Seven,
it's
8 years ago, you could have got a decent place for decent money, but now everything is up, right? So
oh my god, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, and it's like I don't know, like we look at that. Well, and then I would have met Carrie, and you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
the
yeah,
rest
yeah,
is history, right?
exactly, right? Yeah,
But no, it's
yeah,
good.
yeah,
I think it's cool that you're going on the trips, dude. And like I said,
yeah,
we're gonna have to circle back in 2022. Definitely get you in kind of like a regular rotation here on the show too.
yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, for sure.
Shoot the breeze because
Yeah,
people like when you're here, and we're getting lots of comments here. Brenda says I'm proud to have Steve's photos on my walls. And Cindy, hey, thanks for educating us.
yeah, yeah.
Appreciate that
My
too.
phone
Lyra,
always up to you.
thank you, Arms, for
Thank
inviting
you.
Steve and sharing his brilliant work. Great job.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Pleasure. It's funny because like Carrie and I were having a conversation too. She goes, about your show. She goes, you ever think you're going to do in person? And I said, yeah. I said maybe we're going to look at some kind of different things for season two because we're going to launch season two for this show as of January 4th, 2022. That'll be
Yeah.
our first episode. So I think there's going to be some pretty big announcements, hopefully some pretty big, some changes to the show a bit, which I'm pretty excited about. And then Richard says here, hey, I appreciate your guests. You're going to end season one with a cliffhanger, then launch season two with a big premiere episode. I don't know if there's much of a cliffhanger. It's just people kind of shooting the breeze. But funny story. But the last episode we were going to do is the day before New Year's Eve. I have it scheduled, and I was going to have Carrie on, and Carrie pulls me aside
Wonderful.
and she says, Steve, she goes, and you know my wife very well, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
she goes, hey, I got to talk to you. I said, yeah, what's up? She goes, I don't want to be on your show. I'm
yeah.
like, I'm like, what do you mean? I go, like, come on and shoot the breeze. You can go upstairs and do it in the kitchen. I'll be in my office. Come on, do the show. My wife's, I said, the executive producer, the boss, the CEO, the CFO of the Arms show. And
There
she
you
goes, no,
go.
I don't want to do your show. I don't want to do it. It's not my thing.
Uh,
And I'm like, okay, well, I'm
should
going to
be
talk about
great.
it on the
Very
air, how
nice.
you don't want to
Yeah,
be my guest. So
yeah, yeah. Oh, I
anyways,
think she do. I think she'd be great. Yeah,
that's what I said. I said you can kind of poke
yeah.
fun and give, anyways. But
There you
so
go.
last episode's going to be pretty good. I think we have a couple of we're going to do kind of something unique as we launch into season two. But I'm
Nice.
really excited, and I hope people continue to listen and watch and stream as we go. And then maybe we have some time and you're out. I've always said I wanted to go with you. Remember back in the days when I was doing TV, I said
Yeah,
it would be a hell of a story if I tagged along with one of your shoots locally. Like I'd love to go with
yeah,
you to Costa Rica, but maybe we
yeah,
tag along and we film some
yeah,
stuff and then show it again.
yeah, yeah. No, no, that'd be great. We could do a riverfront shoot. I could kind of show you what I look for in pictures, and or even something like Ojibwe. But riverfront is fun because there's so many unique views there, right? So
Yeah.
and, I used to live on the waterfront. I used to be there at least 6 times a week. I'd go run down the riverfront either morning or night. Yeah, I mean, you must remember. I was always posting pictures. So
I remember, dude, I lived on, well, not Riverside Drive, but I lived at Victoria Park Place for, shit, that was like 2008 to 2016. So 8 years. It was my first place out of my parents' house. And I was always down there too, right? Like we
yeah.
used to do the TV shoots during the 6 o'clock news, and we used to call it Studio D for Studio Diep because we'd be down there
Oh,
shooting the
okay.
weather, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I was the riverfront. I think if you're from Windsor, right, you're like spoiled because
yeah,
you're just like, oh yeah, Riverside Drive. But then it's like I have family that comes from like Mississauga, and they're like, man, this is like really nice.
yeah,
Um, but you get used to it, right?
yeah. It's like every place, you know. When I went up to Yellowknife to shoot the Northern Lights, the aurora, I have a friend who lives there. He's from Windsor. He's held several jobs there. He likes to move around, but he's a counselor there, and he's lived in the north for quite some time now. And I asked him, I said, "You must go out and see the lights on a regular basis." He says, "No." He says, I saw him a couple of times. That's enough. Yeah, he can't be bothered. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. It's like a religious experience for me to see these lights. It's crazy. Yeah,
It's I guess it's all in the eye of the beholder, right? So,
yeah, yeah,
but yeah, it's good to be on. Good to have you back. If you're just joining us or
yeah.
listening to the rebroadcast of this on Spotify or on our YouTube channel, the wonderful Steve Biro is my guest, my 36th show in the can, so to speak. SteveBiroPhotography.com. so many of the people commenting, and we'd love to hear you comment with us, chat along with anything we're chatting about. You can join the conversation on Facebook if you're watching on LinkedIn, or joining us in the wonderful world of Twitter as well. So I promised you last time when you were on the show that we wouldn't just completely dive into photography stuff, right?
Yeah,
Because that's
no
like,
problem.
that's like somebody asking Batman to talk about crime fighting, right? It's just like old hat. But we were going to talk a little bit about. I know you got your Superman collection, which I think is badass. You've got that going.
Mhm,
And we talked a little bit about that. You're wearing your Marvel
mhm,
shirt.
mhm.
I don't know if you can see, but I've got some newer editions. I've got some McFarlane Batman stuff I picked up from
Oh,
Paper
nice,
Heroes
nice,
lately, and I've
nice,
kind of getting into the Masters of the Universe stuff as well. But
nice.
we got to nerd out here and talk a little bit about all the different things.
Yeah,
Dude, how pumped are you for December 17th and Spider-Man No Way Home?
yeah. I'm looking forward to the new Spider-Man. I really and I'll probably go to the show. So there's a couple movies coming up that I actually wanted to go to. I want to go to the show and see because I haven't been to the show. I haven't been to the theater in a couple years now, and not many people may know this about me, but I used to go to the show to see movies 2 or 3 times a week. I was a movie aholic at one time. Yeah. So and and that was back before superhero movies. Now it's superhero movies. There are movies that I used to go see 5, 6 times. So I'm really looking forward to Spider-Man. And I think they're doing them very well now. Like this new the new Spider-Man take, I think is really well done. Got a nice they're playing him off as a really smart Peter Parker, which is the way he originally was. He developed his own web shooters, his own webbing from the beginning. He was a real scientific brain early on, right? And I think they've I don't think he's not Tony Stark level, but he's a pretty smart guy, right? And I like that. I like that they're playing him up to be really intelligent. And I think so much of this is going to tie in. I just watched Shang-Chi yesterday.
And
Yeah, yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Have you
right?
watched it yet?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I said to Carrie last Saturday, Liam was in bed, and I'm like,
yeah,
we gotta catch up, right? And I'm like,
yeah,
we
yeah,
gotta watch Shang Chi because I like Simu Liu. I liked him on Kim's Convenience.
yeah,
I follow him on Twitter. I think he's very funny.
yeah,
Um, I thought honestly that was probably one of my favorite Marvel offerings of Phase Four. I thought it
yeah,
was like my only complaint
yeah,
about Shang Chi was how they had Razor Fist and then they had Death Dealer, where I felt like they could have just had Death Dealer be Razor Fist, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like like Razor Fist was good, but like Death Dealer
yeah,
is still good, but it's like that whole Marvel villain thing. But I thought when
yeah.
Wu, aka the Mandarin, Tony Leung was awesome.
Yes.
I thought the story was great.
It's interesting the take on the Ten Rings
Right, like
versus early Mandarin, right? Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they had what's his name? Ben Kingsley kind of reprised his role as they reprised his role of Trevor Slattery, aka the Mandarin from Iron Man 3. And I was
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm like, sign me up. I want to see more of this character as it goes on.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good, and I don't want to give away too much in case people haven't seen it, but it obviously is going to lead into the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness coming up in the late spring as well, which I'm really looking forward to. I love the Doctor Strange. I've always That's actually been one of my favorite characters from Marvel has been Doctor Strange. I actually owned all the Doctor Strange comics at one time. So it was really great to see them do it justice. And I remember when I saw the casting for it, I was like, "That's bang on." They did such a great job. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
he's
then
such a good actor too, right? Benedict
oh,
Cumberbatch. Like
yeah,
I really enjoy. Like I liked him in Doctor Who.
yeah,
His stuff in Sherlock was fantastic too.
yeah.
But
The Imitation Game is amazing. One of my
oh,
favorite movies. Yeah,
huge! Like that
yeah,
was a great game, great movie too.
yeah, yeah.
Did you see the What If? Did you sit through What If?
I have not watched any of the What Ifs yet, so that's next on my list. So,
Because there
yeah,
is a Doctor Strange episode. I'm not going to ruin it for you or people who haven't watched it. For
yeah.
What If, that was
I
like,
probably watched
I
the
mean,
prequel.
I liked Doctor Strange, but after that episode, in that direction they went with the character, I thought it was
Yeah.
phenomenal, like just
Oh, I'll
amazing.
have to check it out. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
check it out. 'Cause I heard it started off a little slow, and then people enjoyed it after the first couple episodes. They really got into it. So I have a buddy who actually used to own a comic game shop in town. So we always talk shop at work. So yeah, well, we always talk comics at work. So yeah,
That's awesome.
a
Yeah,
lot
no,
of fun.
I had to force myself for What If to kind of get through it. I mean, the Captain Carter episode was pretty good. I'm a pretty big Captain
Okay,
America guy, as you can
yeah, yeah,
see.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but the Captain Carter episode kind of kicked it off, and Carrie, she was watching and she lost interest. And then it was kind of okay. And then, like I said, the Doctor Strange episode, like I'm like, wow. And then
Yeah.
they did like a Marvel Zombies episode, which was like,
I
oh,
saw that. I saw that that was an offering. Is
so
it good?
good.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my god, it's
Okay.
awesome.
Good.
Yeah, like so good that the fact that I think the feedback they based on that when they did the Disney Plus Day last week, that they're actually launching, I think at the end of 2022, if not 2023, there's going to be a
Okay.
Disney Plus show, Marvel Zombies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. Nice.
So
Yeah.
it's good though. Like we're excited for like I forgot what movie that we saw in theaters, but we did go back to theaters once, and there was like nobody there. Like, it was like just us, which was great.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
That isn't a bad thing. So, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we pay extra money for the recliners and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
For sure.
definitely going to
If
go
it's
see
not for the
Spider
deal
Man.
of the show, why not enjoy it, right? So,
Well, yeah, you spend the money,
yeah.
right? And that's why I said to
Yeah.
Kara, it's like a night out. So,
Yeah. Exactly.
um, yeah, we're gonna definitely go see Spider Man. I'm like Eternals. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence with. I'm not really into it.
So I
I
heard.
kind of
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet myself either. So yeah. Yeah. Have you seen
it's
it?
no, no. We were kind of going back and forth. Like, do we see it? Like, because I kind of feel
Yeah.
like obligated to see it in theater, and I'm like, you know what? I'll kind of just wait until it hits Disney Plus, right? Um,
Yeah. And I think so much of it is going to tie into the latest story arc, right?
yeah,
Um, I think the thing with the Eternals is, although I don't think it'll be as well done, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, I think a lot of people at first are like, "Who the heck are these guys?" Right? And even myself, and I didn't, being a real comic person, I didn't really read much of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I read it, but it wasn't very interesting for me. But the way they did the movie and tied it all together, and it was just so funny, and it was well paced and lots of action, and the characters are endearing, and I'm like, when as I was watching it, I was just liking it more and more and more. I was like, I cannot believe that I'm enjoying this movie this much. It was one of my favorite Marvel films, actually. And I know Eternals is not going to be that way, but I do think part of it is a lot of people not familiar with the Eternals characters.
yeah,
And so I think it probably overall is a little bit better movie than some of the reviews it's getting. And for me, I am actually an Eternals fan. So and especially always fascinated with the Celestials, because you only saw them sporadically throughout the Marvel universe, right? They're these like just vastly powerful beings that nobody messes with. Like Galactus doesn't mess with these guys. Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking forward to it, and at least in the aspect of the latest story arc, right? I'm gonna end up watching everything.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
We're the same way too, right? Like, and it's like you don't really know where this is all going towards, right? Like, it's like it was
yeah,
almost somewhat formulaic at the end of Phase Three, where you're like, okay, you know that they were going to square off with Thanos and something was going to happen, right? Where this is
yeah,
like, I don't know if you saw Loki push through Loki. Like, I loved Loki. I thought it was
yeah,
fantastic,
yeah,
and
yeah,
for those folks who haven't seen it or watched it yet, the whole Jonathan Majors thing, I'll just leave it
yeah,
at that. It's like,
yeah,
okay, so where are they even going with that? Are we going in that direction? And then I read something today about, Sam Raimi is directing Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange, right?
yeah,
So he's got obviously directed Spider-Man 2. He's got an extensive horror film background, with Evil Dead and
yeah.
Ash and all that through the
Oh, Sydney
years.
is great. Yeah, yeah,
And I like Sam Raimi. I think if you look at the old Spider-Man films, like I loved his work with Tobey Maguire and Alfred Molina,
yeah,
who's back.
yeah, yeah. I
Um,
enjoyed them as well. Yep.
yeah, I thought they were fantastic films. And it's like I read today that they're actually going through reshoots, and it's like actually almost, I think they said 4 months worth of research, which generally means they're doing like a whole light diffuse and blow a big chunk of the strip away. But they actually
Yes.
came out and said, to kind of quell the rumors of like maybe the first shots of Doctor Strange were garbage. It's like, no, 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 no. The reason they're doing it is because a lot of actors they wanted are now able to shoot. So they want to get these actors
Perfect.
in because
Yeah,
I guess Multiverse of Madness is supposed to be like this massive cameo fest, right? Like because
yeah.
it's the name's in the title. He's going to be going through the Multiverse of Madness.
I
So
think I think uh, I think Adam Warlock is going to be in it.
oh yeah, for sure. Well, they casted him, right? It's like the kid that was
Yeah,
in Meet the Millers,
yeah,
who's like Jack
yeah,
now. He's like the guy's
yeah,
ripped.
yeah. Is he?
Um,
Yeah, I haven't
oh
seen
yeah,
the pictures. That's amazing. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, because
yeah.
they
But
they James Gunn tweeted it out that they casted him. And people were like, oh man, that nerdy kid from the Meet the Millers, who was actually really funny. Like
oh, he's great.
he's
I love the
fantastic
Millers.
guy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then they actually showed photos of him now, and the guy's like built like a house. It's like, oh,
Oh, I gotta check it out. I haven't seen that yet. Yeah, yeah,
so I mean, it's a good time to be a fan, man. I mean,
yeah,
holy
yeah.
cow,
But when
nonstop.
they,
And then
I don't know if you caught the teaser at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And they said they were creating a higher being.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
right? Did you
Yeah.
know that was Adam Warlock?
Yeah, I kind of put two and
Yeah,
two together, right? When
yeah,
was it uh, I forgot the name of the race, but the gold skin folks, right? Aisha and
yeah,
the gold skin, they
yeah,
were
yeah,
like, they kind of did it as a tease, and then everybody thought he was
yeah,
going to show up in, because if you know the comics, right? Adam
yeah,
Warlock was sort of like one of the deciding factors in the Infinity Gauntlet saga, right?
yeah,
Against Thanos.
yeah, yeah.
But
I
then
was
he was
surprised
like,
they didn't bring him back for
right?
the Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah,
Nothing. And
yeah,
I was like,
yeah. He's huge.
okay, so
Yeah,
that's fine. But
yeah,
yeah, it's going to be good, man. And then
yeah, yeah,
so much to look forward to, right? It's
yeah.
it's like, are they going to do anything with the Fantastic Four? Well, they just announced that they're going to be reviving X-Men the '90s cartoon for a whole series of new episodes with the same cast that are still alive, and they're calling it
Really
X-Men '97 on Disney Plus.
interesting. Very
And that
nice.
was like, dude.
I haven't
Besides
seen that.
that, oh, it's I was like clapping when they made that announcement for Disney Plus
Nice.
Day
That's awesome. Yeah,
because in the '90s there was that, and then Batman the animated series were like my jams, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
those were like quintessential cartoon watching, you
yeah.
know?
And I never watched them because I was a little bit older then, right? So,
Oh,
yeah,
so good, so good.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll go back
Uh,
and watch them. Yeah, yeah,
Bob says,
yeah.
"Nice to see Steve again." Hey guys, Bob,
Thank you,
thanks for
Bob.
tuning in.
Thank you
Appreciate it.
always for the kind words as well, Bob. I appreciate it. Yeah,
Yeah, you must
very,
get that
very
a lot though,
kind.
right? Like people, like you get to know the people who are commenting on your stuff that when you post
Yeah,
it, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people that I know follow me quite well, and I always really appreciate their kind words. I really do. It's quite nice, for sure. Yeah. Another
So
movie I'm
what's
looking forward to. I don't know if you follow The Matrix, but
yes?
I'm looking forward to the new Matrix coming up soon. Coming soon, December the 24th, I
I
think.
think so. Yeah, just
Yeah,
around the holiday, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm a big Matrix fan. I've watched the Matrix movies many, many times, and I always catch like something different, some little tweak, right? And I'm really looking forward to it. I really am. Yeah,
So
yeah.
what do
So
you think
what do
about
you think
them
about
not
them not
using
using
Morpheus
Morpheus
as, or not
as,
Morpheus,
or not
Lawrence
Morpheus,
Fishburne
Lawrence
as
Fishburne as
Morpheus?
Morpheus? I haven't. It would have been nice to see Lawrence Fishburne in again. Um, I'm almost. I mean, I think it's the same character, you know, but a younger version or a reborn version. It's kind of weird. I think they're alluding to the fact that I don't want to give too much away. I think they're alluding to the fact that Neo may actually be like a reborn version. Um, like they found, like I think they tried to find a way to like hide him again in the Matrix, and I think he wakes up again, right? That's kind of my thinking. I'm not 100% sure if that's how they're going, but so it may be the same way with Lawrence Fishburne's character, but obviously it's not Lawrence Fishburne, unfortunately. So yeah. But I almost literally walked right into Lawrence Fishburne at Macy's in um, I can't think of it right now. And anyway, Macy's in the mall one day. I was there shopping, and I went to walk into the change room, and he was like walking. I almost walked right into me. I was like, "Dang, that's Lawrence Fishburne. That's awesome." I don't want to bug him though, right? I'm a huge fan, but I don't want to be one of those guys. So.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Especially when he's like trying on something, you're like, "Excuse me, Lawrence
yeah, yeah,
Fishburne. I know you're
yeah,
trying
yeah,
on something, but can you just
yeah.
sign my arm?" You know?
Go knock on the change room door. Hey, Mr. Fishburne. yeah, exactly. Sign my
That's
arm. I would do that. I had Robin Williams sign my dress shirt.
come on.
Yeah, I saw Robin Williams at the Fox Theater, and we heard rumor that one day he went around, he come out and do autographs out back. I know I'm digressing now. He'd do autographs out back of the Fox Theater. So we went back there, and there's several people kind of milling around, and they're trying to say no, he's not coming back. Security was there, like you guys should just move on. But sure enough, after about 30 minutes of waiting, and it was cold, I was standing in my dress shirt, and it was probably it was probably 40 degrees Fahrenheit and breezy, and I was freezing cold. And he came out, and I asked somebody if I could borrow their Sharpie. He had nothing to sign, and I said, Mister Williams, I said, will you sign my shirt? I have nothing else. He's like, all right. He says, I know you're gonna wear this to the office tomorrow and brag about meeting me. Like, he was really great, really, really nice guy. He was really nice, and I was fortunate enough to see him twice, and the second time I saw him, I had him sign a book that he did the forward for. So yeah, it was quite
That's
nice.
awesome.
Yeah. He's a really nice guy. Like I could tell you more about the experience when he came out. I'll tell you the story. There was um, probably a special needs kid, but he was a man. But his father was there,
Mhm.
and he had a big Mork poster. And you could, you could tell he was um, like I said, you could tell he was special needs. And Robin Williams came out. He just was drained. You could see on his face how tired this man was. He spotted this guy. He walked right up to him, talked to him for several minutes, signed his poster. It was honestly, you almost cry watching. It was so nice to see the attention he paid to this young man. It was really nice. The father was really appreciative. But he was a great man. He had a big heart. Yeah,
That's awesome. I always enjoyed him. I loved his stuff through like Mrs. Doubtfire, and
yeah.
to me, like Aladdin is like one of my favorite Disney movies. I
Oh
love
yeah, yeah,
love him
yeah.
as the genie.
Nice, nice.
Um, but my favorite Robin Williams film is What Dreams May Come. Um, I
Oh
if
really?
Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I did. I did. I enjoy it. It's not my favorite film of his, but I did enjoy it very much. Yeah,
Oh, just I have it on Blu-ray somewhere, and I actually have it on DVD. Like,
yeah.
I don't know, I just the story, everything about it. Just
I did
I
enjoy
just
the story. I always like a good fantasy, right? So
Yeah, just the guy.
yeah,
It's almost like in Dante's Inferno, right? Like going through the seven rings of hell to
yeah,
get his
yeah,
wife back. But
yeah.
just really well. He's just such a great actor, and just
Oh,
terrible.
oh yeah,
Kind
yeah,
of
it
put
is.
the spotlight. I think when he passed in, I think 2014, early
Yeah,
2014, it kind of put the
yeah,
spotlight on the importance of mental health. I think at that
yes,
point,
for sure, for
you
sure.
know.
Yeah, I think my
Um,
favorite is Fisher King.
oh yeah, yeah, that's a good one too, right?
I love Fisher King. Oh, he was amazing in the Fisher King. It was
Oh yeah,
unbelievable.
it
Yeah,
I think it showed his chops of his versatility,
yeah,
right? Of what he could
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah.
Eric says we're going to go into the Matrix in a few years once the metaverse and VR gears develop more, and maybe we'll see the ABP in there.
Perfect.
Dude, I listen, Eric. Okay, about the whole Zuckerberg metaverse thing, and like, I had a conversation with somebody about this the other day. It's like I can't keep up like with all the technology, like, and it's
No,
cool. Like if
no.
that's the way we're going, but I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know. Like I've said before, like I go on TikTok every once in a while. Like Carrie and I will go on TikTok and we'll kind of fall in the TikTok hole, and we'll go and we'll share videos. And I'm not on TikTok. I mean, yet. Uh,
uh,
but like this whole metaverse stuff, I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I
I
guess
don't
that's the
know
way
much
it's going.
about it, but yeah, I was
It's
I saw Eric on the riverfront a couple weeks back shooting some eagles. It was nice to talk to him for a bit. Yeah,
He's a good guy.
yeah,
Really
yeah,
good
very,
guy.
yeah, very good. Yeah,
Yeah, I got to know Eric a bit during my AM 800 days, and then when I was coming on board to the CBC, he was exiting some of the community work he was doing for the CBC at the time, and then we kind of kept in contact. And then when we started to launch the show, Eric and I had several conversations about kind of supporting each other, because I know what he does with Eyes on Windsor, his website. I think there's a need for it in the area, right? Sort of
Yeah,
like that local spotlight, that good
yeah,
news. And he's kind of between him and Teresa, they're like kind of just a two-person show, right? So it's like anytime we can kind of help each other out and support each other in that sense, we do.
yeah,
But
yeah,
he's just a solid dude, solid guy, just
yeah,
like you,
nice.
man. Just don't
Yeah.
know him kind of thing. So,
Thank you. Yeah,
uh, it's just a weird time, right? Like we personally, speaking of like getting out there, like I wanted to take Liam and Amherstburg. They're launching River Lights tomorrow,
yeah,
and that's kind of like the annual tradition. And I wanted to take him, but I don't know if I told you this, but last time I cited it, we got Liam in daycare a couple days a week, just to kind of be around kids, because he hasn't been around
nice.
kids
Yeah,
because of COVID and his heart issues and everything. So Carrie and
good.
we bit the bullet. We were like, okay, he's got to be around kids. He's starting kindergarten next year.
Yeah, yeah,
So we put him in
that's
daycare,
good.
and as people told us, once he's in daycare, somebody has a cold or is sick in daycare, that goes around,
Yeah,
right? So he started getting the sniffles earlier this week. So we got him tested and all that kind of stuff. He's fine. It's just he's got a respiratory infection.
yeah,
So he's with Carrie going away this weekend too. It's like, okay, well, we're not going to take him out to. I don't want him outside in the cold. I mean, if he's
yeah,
especially he's starting to feel better today, but it's just funny.
good,
It's
good.
like, man, like every other week he's getting sniffles, and then we're like, oh my god, is it COVID? And then got to get him tested, and it's fine, but knock on wood. But it's just
Yeah,
we're just kind of hunkering down over the next couple of weeks, which is okay by me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, the lights. I've never been to the lights in Amherstburg. Maybe I'll have to get out there. Yeah,
They're nice. They do a good job. Like
yeah,
Sarah from the town, Sarah Van Grinsven, she's fantastic, and her and Ann Rhoda, they do a really good job from Tourism Amherstburg to kind of put it on. I know Bright Lights is back this year. I saw that in Windsor, which I still have never been to Bright Lights. I mean, God, we covered it nonstop at the CBC when it launched a
I've
couple
never
of years
been.
ago. And I've never been. Right? It's funny. Like we'd
Yeah,
send people out, but never been to Bright Lights.
yeah,
Um, so I think we're going to try to make it out to Bright Lights at some point this year. But River Lights, I like it because for Amherstburg and like a small town, it's actually pretty awesome. If you
nice.
go to Toddy Jones Park, which is just off the main strip as you're coming into town, just behind General, like you know where it is. I don't need to
Yeah,
tell you
yeah,
where it is. But right
yeah.
behind General Amherst, they have all these really cool, like they have superhero displays, and they're all moving like it's like people take the rope lighting and they bend it to like sort of the frame of the character. So they've got those, and then if you go further down to Kings Yard, Navy Yard Park, where all the restaurants are, there's a bunch of stuff there too. So
Beautiful.
they do
Yeah,
the whole lighting of the Clark Griswold hit the thing, and so
nice, nice.
it'll be good. And then next week is our
Good.
Amherstburg Christmas parade out here too, so that's going to be pretty good too. So
Very good. Very
yeah,
good.
it's the season, man. You know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. What other movies are coming up that we want to see? There's
Well, I want to go see House of Gucci with Adam Driver and Lady Gaga.
oh
Uh,
yeah,
I think that
that does
looks
look
I think
good.
that looks phenomenal.
Yeah, it does look really good. Yeah, people are
And I
saying that Lady Gaga really embodies that role.
Yeah,
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 and then Adam Driver too. I mean, I like him too. I think he's a great actor
yeah,
too. But
yeah,
so that's what we want to see. And then Spider Man, as you get into next year, I think there's going to be some pretty big announcements from Marvel as they
yeah.
usually
Batman's
do.
coming.
Yeah, Batman.
What are your thoughts?
Of
Have
Batman,
you, yeah, yeah.
I kind of like Pattinson as
Well,
Batman. I
I
think
like.
he's awesome personally,
Yeah,
but
I like to see. I'm glad we're having a younger Batman.
yes,
I think that's so important. I think it really is. A younger, early, angry Batman. That's how Batman started, right? And I hope they kind of show him stumbling a little bit along the way. Making a few kind of rookie errors still, like year one, right? And then kind of learning along the way. But I don't think they're going full year one kind of direction. But I'm really looking forward to it. Matter of fact, year two, you mentioned your McFarlane collection
yeah,
there. I think it's year two. Um, Batman cover where he's draped. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you know it too well. He's draped over his parents' gravestone, holding a gun.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
It's
yeah.
a solid cover. It's one of my favorite Batman covers. Yeah, yeah,
In the
yeah,
blue, the blue, or is it still gray and black?
yeah. It's blue. Yeah,
It's
it's like the
blue.
blue, the big cowl, or
Yeah. Actually,
dramatic.
funny
Yeah,
story about that. Okay,
yeah.
so I Scott from I don't know if you know Scott St. Moore from Paper Heroes, the guy who owns the place over on Howard. He's a
Yeah, I
good
don't know well. Yeah, yeah, but I know it's a good place. Yeah,
solid dude, solid dude.
yeah.
So into a bit of collecting. That's like my passion now.
Oh, I think I
I
do know him. I
go,
think he used to come to Border City early on. I think I do
yeah,
know him, but not very well. But yes, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, he's the owner, right? So he's been,
yeah.
obviously, I haven't been in there since I had Liam, and then
Yeah.
I kind of been getting. I brought Liam to Free Comic Book Day. He had a riot, and then
Nice.
so I try to get pop in when I'm in the town just to see how Scott is and everything. He's gonna have him on the show actually just before Christmas, which is awesome. And I'm always bugging him about the DC stuff. Like I've got DC up here, and then
Yeah,
a couple just over here is all my DC things. And
yeah,
he was
yeah.
saying too, he's like, I asked him, I said, do you have that one that you're talking about, like the year two draped over the parents' grave? It's very like, it reminds me of like a Spawn,
Yeah,
like kind of look to it.
yeah.
And he was like, no, it's like a Target right now. He goes, it's a Target exclusive. So now that Carrie's in the States, I have her. I like this weekend. I'm messaging her. I'm like, hey, did you go to Target yet? Did you did you
Oh,
look for it?
nice.
Maybe so can you
Yeah,
grab it? Because it's a
yeah,
big figure. Like it's
yeah, yeah,
actually massive, right?
yeah, yeah.
No, those figures they're well worth it. Like I actually just got like the comic book version of Batman when he's fighting Superman in the Dark Knight with the Robo suit.
Oh,
It's pretty cool. It's a very
yeah, nice,
square figure, but I
nice,
enjoy it.
nice. Yeah, very nice. My favorite. Uh, there's a Batman figurine um, where he's on top of a gargoyle, and it was the one figure I never got my hands on. I should have bought it when it first came out, but shortly after it first came out, like doubled in price, tripled in price, quadrupled, and you could get like the small, redo of it. And I was like, I don't want that. If I can have the original, I don't want it. But I think I eventually got it. Like I said before, I've got the Superman figurine from the Seinfeld series, and I have some good figurines. And some of my favorite figurines, I don't have them available to show right now. They're in boxes, but are the Sandman figurines. So I don't know if
Oh,
you're familiar
nice.
with this. I don't know if you're
Yeah, yeah,
familiar with Sandman comic,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's coming to Netflix. So they're working directly with Neil Gaiman. So I don't know if people are familiar with Neil Gaiman's work, but if they do Sandman justice, I think it will be just unbelievable if they can show like the realm of dream the way it can be done, and if Neil Gaiman is a part of it, I think it's just going to be phenomenal. It's the one thing I'm really looking forward to. I think they did a great job with American Gods, which unfortunately ended early, but it was extremely well done, and we'll see where to go with it. Yeah, I know that with Lucifer. I don't know. Did you watch the Lucifer
Yep,
series?
yep, yep.
I enjoyed it, but I like the comic better. And Lucifer is a creation of Lucifer is one of that version of Lucifer is a creation of Neil Gaiman as well. So I'm really looking forward to the Sandman. It's one of my favorite. It probably overall is my favorite comic of all time. Yeah,
We cleared, and I love Neil Gaiman's work and some of the stuff he's done over the years for DC too, right? Like in the various properties of DC. But I
yeah,
cleared American God season one. I loved it, and just I kind of fell off the wagon for season two, but it's on my to watch list. Got so much
yeah,
stuff. Like I yeah, that's on my list of things to watch. And
yeah.
I've got some of his work somewhere and some of my graphic novels that I've got kicking around here too. So
Yeah, yeah,
what
his
is it?
graphic novels are amazing, and they say he's one of the, his mythological work is so amazing, and they say he's actually one of the premier mythology authorities on the planet.
Hmm.
He's so well researched. Yeah, yeah, Yeah,
Well, he knows his stuff there, right? And that shows like in some of I mean, his written works as opposed to, I know like sometimes when they have somebody do like a TV treatment or show treatment, they, not to say it gets lost in translation, but
yeah,
you can't really get into the weeds. But I know some of the written work, it's pretty good too. So
yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so my question to you, like I can book you in for 2022? Can I come back
Sure. Yeah.
like just
Just make
before
sure
you?
make sure I'm not away.
Yeah, no, I'll message you and I'll be like, dude,
I know,
are you
teasing.
available
That's
to hop
easy.
on the stream? And
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I
you know,
love it. I love it. Yeah, yeah. Always fun to talk. Huh? Yeah.
oh, God bless you, man. And I say this again. Thanks for being a great friend. I very much value our friendship. I think you're extremely talented, dude, and I think the city and the region is better for it because of your talent and your passion too. So,
Uh, I appreciate that, and I think the whole region is better for your generosity and what you give back to the community, Arms, and this is a great show you do showcasing local people, and I'm looking forward to Adriano next week. He's great. He's a such an advocate for the city. He's really great as well. So I know I don't know him well personally, but I just know of him, and I never heard anything bad about him. Great guy. Yeah.
well, you're gonna come out drinking with us one night. That's as simple as that.
Better like,
I'll
better
call you.
like,
Like me, Adam Castle, get Ian from Fight Like Mason, and you,
sure,
and we'll go. The
totally.
boys will go out, have a couple, and have some fun, and you it up too. So it's good. It's good
Yeah, that would be
people.
awesome.
Yeah, count it in. So, listen, take care of yourself. I'm sure I'm going to connect with you before Christmas, but
Yeah, for sure.
to everybody watching, thank you for spending your time with us, and always, my friend, a pleasure. Okay,
Yeah, it's a pleasure as well. Thanks again for having me on. And yeah, hopefully we'll get together. Maybe we'll go see a movie together.
I would love that, dude. Even if it's
All right.
like opening day Spider Man. I know Carrie and I are going, but I'm probably going to go
Yeah,
see it a couple of times, man.
yeah. I figured Carrie's first, and I'll take seconds, no problem.
Never mind that, dude. We'll go first for Matrix. I know she'll
All
want to
right.
go see Matrix. I'll go with you for Matrix. Done. You just gotta let me know, and
Perfect.
I'll sneak out.
All right. I'll get in touch. All right.
Okay. God
You have a
bless.
great
Thanks,
one.
man.
Cheers. All right.
See
Bye
ya.
now.
Steve Biro, who is just an amazing guy, great best photographers here in Windsor, Essex. Loves so many things, including adventuring, getting out there, showcasing the area, comic books, pop culture as well, and really just a great guy to know and call a friend. SteveVeroPhotography.com is the website. If you want to check out some of his work, you can order it right online, or if you are a pet lover, you got to check out our new calendar for 2022 for the Windsor Essex County Humane Society. Steve took all the photos of our winners. It is available now. And you can pick up a calendar at the Humane Society itself. So that's going to do it for episode 36 of the Arms Bumanlag Project. We appreciate Steve. Don't forget, tomorrow we are focusing on cyberbullying in Windsor, Essex. We've got a special report on the Arms Bumanlag Project. We have Lucy Rosu Ciesa, the executive director from BANA, joining me on the show to talk a little bit about some of the outreach work they did this week at Catholic Central High School alongside me. Also speaking to some of the students about changing the conversation online with cyberbullying. So that will be tomorrow at 2 o'clock here on the Arm Spoon and Lag Project. And then Monday night, oh my gosh, we've got Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, brought to you by Always Working for You, the real estate group, Paul Germanizzi and the team, sponsoring the show. Your kids can call in on this show, video chat with Santa and Mrs. Claus. They will be live with us Monday night at 8 o'clock. Have a great rest of the weekend. Stay safe, stay warm, and take care of each other. Thanks for watching the project.